Hello and welcome to Coaltech, a podcast by the Coaltech Research Association. And today I'm excited to introduce a guest in the Coaltech world. He's really not a guest. He's been a member and a partner to Coaltech for a few years. I am joined by Mr. Charles Bothma from FlowCentric Mining Technology. Charles, welcome to Coaltech.
Thank you so much, Oring. We thank you for the opportunity to be here. Thank you. So FlowCentric Mining has been about 15 years in the mining space. We have started as a company that provides dust suppression or dust management solutions, but we have evolved. The nice thing about this industry, your clients, which is the mines, tell you where there is bottlenecks and where there is challenges. Hence, we've got a variety of products which we can talk about later on that we have developed over time for specific issues that the industry struggles with. I am the operations director for FlowCentric Mining Technology. We've got operations in South Africa as well as in Australia. Australia for the last 8 years, in South Africa for about 15 years. Mainly, I make sure the mines are happy wherever we are providing solutions, that we also evolve, we become better at what we do. That's why Coaltech is such a nice forum to stay intact with the latest and with the improvement for the sector.
Yeah, I must say, every time I personally engage with FlowCentric, the one thing that strikes me is just how much thought you give into research and development outputs. As Coaltech, we are always hoping that the R&D outcomes that are funded by Coaltech will result in innovation that ultimately benefits the coal community and beyond. But I'm wondering how FlowCentric came to be. What was the gap that you saw on the market which you felt that you could close and do so successfully?
FlowCentric was a dream. Myself and Jacques Wessels, who is our CEO, used to take walks in the morning around 2005 and 6. And we just discussed what we do, where we would like to be. Both of us having brothers in the mining industry. Mine geologists, Jacques are mine managers, one of them being on Newmont's exec. We always find it fascinating that the mining industry is such a dynamic place that evolves all the time. And in those days, we said, one day we would like to do something in the mining space. The opportunity only came around in 2011 when somebody that we knew somebody that was making some waves in dust management, and we got offered opportunity to get involved there. So that's how it all started, as a dream. Over time, and it's grown ever since then into not just being a dust management solutions company.
And I can tell you from the outside, anyone who is in the mining sector can see the scaling that FlowCentric has undergone. It almost at times feels like hyper-scaling of sorts. The other thing that you see with FlowCentric is the technology that you apply and the equipment or tools that then come out of that are quite hard to ignore. Maybe you can tell us a bit about some of the tools and equipment that you use or the technology that you deploy to provide solutions to the sector.
So over time, we've listened to customers. One of the few or changes in our company started when people started talking to us about wastewater problems. And we obviously had to go to the drawing table and look at what solutions we can come back with. That was at the stage when we were purely doing dust suppression, dust management, misting systems, and road dust. We then had a look at industry, other industries and overseas markets, and we stumbled across the mechanical water evaporation. Although we didn't just say, well, there's products out there, let's import that or let's copy that. We designed our own water evaporation systems. We used some of the best in the industry to help us design. One of the guys were busy with his doctorate at Stellenbosch University that worked on the airflow dynamics and the aerodynamics of these machines, and putting a lot of expertise together with understanding the need out there, we were able to come up with a brilliant product that speaks for itself. The same with listening to one of the industry giants, Mr. Gerard Stenzel, said to us at some stage, the spontaneous combustion issue is quite a big one in the coal mining industry. Hence, we also started looking at that. The good thing about R&D is it's exciting, but it always takes 4 times longer and 4 times the budget than what you put out for it. But we actually came up with some great solutions for that problem.
And again, what I appreciate with FlowCentric, you mentioned now a PhD candidate at Stellenbosch, but every time I engage with either yourself or your team, there's always a student or university that's working on a solution that you are then able to commercialize. And again, now from a Coaltech perspective, research does take time, and you end up spending, as you say, more than what you thought, which is why the Coaltech environment, I think, it's a natural fit for FlowCentric. Charles, can you maybe just share with the audience one example, like a success story? And I know you have several, but is there one story that stands out that you look at and say, I'm glad I'm with FlowCentric because we're able to do this?
Yeah, for sure. The evaporation systems has changed, I believe, the industry of wastewater. It's the most cost-effective way to get rid of contaminated water. And it's been around 8 years in the market. So we have supplied over 200 of these evaporation systems to mines, to Eskom, people struggling with getting rid of wastewater. And I know in a perfect world, we'll all say RO plant and, let's put the water through RO. But the cost involved in that is huge, and there's not always the budget for that. So the fact that we designed something locally that we now export to the Middle East, Australia, and several other markets is actually something I'm very proud of, that it is proudly South African, our design, and the fact that we are playing in the international market with something that is a solution to our problems in our local environment, but as well as international markets.
It's maybe one thing that as South Africans, we don't appreciate enough, the depth of competence that you find in this country. Having been in the mining sector as a country for a couple of, say, a few hundred years, the talent that has come out of South Africa and been exported globally is huge. And the fact that you are now in Australia and the Middle East, that does not surprise me at all. I wish more companies could think that way, to say, as South Africa, we have a really good thing going here from a mining perspective, not only on the continent, but there's so much talent that we can export elsewhere. Charles, maybe you can switch gears a bit and talk about some of the regulatory hurdles or pressures that your clients go through with the technology that you provide and what you're seeing in the sector. Do you think, or are you seeing an evolution from a regulatory perspective? I'm wondering how, as FlowCentric, you're thinking about regulations, how they'll impact the industry and your role in that evolution.
So obviously, regulatory issues is big in the mining industry. It gives the companies headaches for the right reasons. There should be regulatory institutions that actually make sure that people are mining consciously. Having said that, we have seen that there is actually a change in where we used to be the grudge purchase. Guys got problem with dust or the wastewater. It used to be a grudge purchase. So these guys will say, well, we don't really want to buy this, but we are forced. There's been a huge change where people now seeing us as being part of the solution, but also enabling them to mine sustainably in the long term, to mitigate environmental as well as community issues by using our solutions. So we have become part of the package where we used to be the garage purchase. And that is very nice, and it's a great shift for any industry when people start accepting, listen, these guys aren't here to make a quick buck. They are here to come with solutions that's going to increase our sustainability and give us longevity.
Yeah, I mean, as you were talking, the word that I was thinking of is exactly that, sustainability. That when you move from a garage purchase to coming to FlowCentric to find solutions, then we're starting to think about sustainability. That is not a transaction anymore, but it's a partnership where FlowCentric provides the technology that company X needs in order to advance their own sustainability targets. I'm wondering, again, from a Coaltech perspective, this year we decided that we are going to host what will become our biggest colloquium yet. We didn't know how we were going to fund it because Coaltech does not charge its members to attend. We then called on our different partners, and FlowCentric raised its hand to say, we will partner with you. We will be this year's headline sponsor. Why the decision to partner with Coaltech as a headline sponsor?
Bring the positive thing that we've experienced being part of Coaltech for a couple of years was basically the fact that you got a concentration of decision makers. You got a concentration of brain power. You got a concentration of talent, all attending these events. Made it a no-brainer that we should take a bigger stake in it or assist Coaltech to be able to keep on doing these events or bringing them to us, as well as the last one was excellent, but keep that standard of event going forward. So the positive things that we take out of it is that through this initiative and this collaboration, we can solve unsolvable problems, so to say. The Coaltech platform brings us this concentration of brain power, of talent, to start solving. We can't do it on our own, but through this platform, we can really start solving the unsolvable problems. And that's one of the main reasons we collaborate and we say, guys, we have to be part of this, of the bigger picture, for the industry as well as for ourselves.
Yeah, but again, I mean, when you say we can't solve this on our own, Coaltech is a collaborative platform, but it only becomes collaborative when there are willing partners who come forward and say, hey, you have a problem, I may have a solution, or here's a solution, I see that you guys have a problem. That, to us, is what collaboration entails, where there's funding that goes into the R&D bit, but R&D without someone on the other end willing to implement is meaningless, which is why we appreciate having partners such as yourself. I'm wondering what you are seeing in the short to medium term. What are some of the technologies that are exciting you or technologies that FlowCentric is thinking about?
So one of the recent technologies that we've worked on for quite a while is the spontaneous combustion products that we have invented, taken to market, tested. We have recently exported some of that product for proof of concepts to Australia as well as to India. So that excites me. The fact that there is product that a place like India, where I think coal mining is 10 times the size of South Africa, are speaking to us to bring a solution to the table. Very exciting. The other exciting one that I think the Coaltech guys are aware of, because we've had a meeting regarding that, and we are full steam ahead of the rare earth elements extraction from AMD. So that is really exciting. I'm getting goosebumps here from just thinking about that. And we are giving our best to fast track that, to get that pilot plant working and to actually come back with some positive results and to share it with the industry, because that is a game changer.
Wow. Yeah, for more reasons than just the one. Rare earth elements as Coaltech, as you well know, it's an area that excites us. It excites us because of not only the economic potential, but the socio-economic benefits that will come out of exploring such a pathway. Maybe the last question I have, Charles, is there's someone listening to this, they're sitting at the mines, they have a dust problem, or they may have a wastewater problem. From FlowCentric's perspective, is there any advice that you'll give to that mining engineer or that coal processing manager who has a dust or wastewater problem today?
The most important piece of advice I would give them is to start moving away from quick fixes. Start looking at integrated processes. Involve management. Start thinking about the bigger picture of how to go from thinking of it as waste, make the mind shift to see it as a resource. So the moment you can start changing people's mind, they don't just think waste and cost of waste, disposal, to seeing it as a resource and think about the longevity of this resource, as well as happy communities, sustainability. That would be my word of advice to the guys out there. See the bigger picture, move away from quick fixes and seeing only the cost, go to the bigger picture of the integrated management plans that in the long term would benefit everyone.
Again, it's about sustainability, but it's also, it sounds like it's about circularity. The circular economy conversation is interesting because it's very broad, and sometimes we limit ourselves to very minor problems. So I like the idea of thinking big picture. I like the idea of shifting one's mindset to stop thinking of material as waste, but to look at the economic opportunities of seeing that as a resource. Because if the industry does a lot more of that, then you are able to not only do more, but create opportunities outside what you believe to be your core business. So I can only echo your sentiments in that regard. In closing, maybe anything that you would like to leave the audience with today?
In closing, I would just like to say we also like to keep things simple. Sometimes we think we have to over-engineer. The problem is so big that you come with such a lengthy and costly solution that was not necessary from the first place. So we keep that in mind with every solution that we offer is cost. Keep it simple. Do what it takes at the lowest cost to the industry to solve this problem. And that is our motto, to go out there, solve issues, solve problems, but still keep it simple mindset. And we simple guys, we don't think we're clever. There's enough talent and clever guys there that can assist us with some of these solutions, but we still believe keeping it simple.
Sage advice from Mr. Charles Bothma of FlowCentric Mining Technology. As mentioned, I am Aburengwi Nengobera. Charles, thank you for coming through to Coal Talk. Hopefully the audience got a lot, not only about FlowCentric, but also the different technologies and innovations that you are working on. As Coaltech, we are grateful that you are partnering with us to host a very successful Coaltech colloquium to be held on the 28th of May. We cannot wait to see you there. We cannot wait to see everyone in Benoni on the 28th of May. Mr. Bothma, thank you for your time.
Thank you for the opportunity and looking forward to that great event.